So this is for my YouTube channel, so I've obviously gone horizontal so you can sort of see what I'm doing. But g'day, and I am working on a series of works that I can do when I can't get out in the landscape and paint. And this particular painting is of and a whole series I'm doing at the moment of upturned roots. So a tree's fallen over, pulled its root system out and cleaved its rocks out with it. So this tangle of bleach, sun bleach greys that have come out of that. So in this series I'm just playing and enjoying the fact that I can use paint without having to hop in a car and get there, and I don't have the weather, and I've just had a few health challenges this last week as well. I'm actually not at home in Tasmania, I'm in Sydney. I'm just got to do some work on getting a house ready to sell, so I'm sort of stuck up here and not able to go and paint where my favourite places are. So I'm getting a little bit stir crazy because I've had COVID all this week, and this is the first time I felt like doing anything. I'm not quite liking what's going on here. But yeah, so I haven't got the COVID too badly. I just don't know what the fatigue is going to be like. I'm feeling the fatigue a bit, and if you're aware, I had 11 months of long COVID, and that was really around brain, headache, fatigue, and my head's hurting a little bit at the moment. Probably an indication of what's going on in my head. So all I'm doing here is just sort of exploring this beautiful colour and paint. I've decided to use only two colours for this, so I'm using an Australian, red ochre, which turns these lovely yellows as well, and Prussian blue. So I'm only using two colours, and I'm using an unbleached titanium, and that's this almost the same colour as the ground on this linen, and also a tinting white, which is a transparent white. So I'm wanting to get the underground textures and things showing. So I'm just using those 4 tubes of paint, but really only two colours, and those two colours, when you combine the Prussian and the yellow, it makes this lovely green as well. So don't know that I want that much blue there, but anyhow. Do that. I don't know whether I want that to do it or not, but because it's got that blue in it, it's giving this a definite top and bottom, which wasn't my original intention, but I actually don't mind. This is so typical of skies in Tasmania. Tasmanian skies are this, sort of greyed, fogged, winter snowed. Yeah, that works. That's okay. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to get a realism. I keep running out of this white on my palette because I'm using a lot of it. I'm loving the fact that as I'm doing things that I don't normally do, because I'm working outside of my normal, sit in the landscape and work with the colours that are in front of me. I'm just loving producing paintings that are not that are a lot more enjoying and playing with colour and tone and texture. So there's sort of a little dance going on here, just a really delicate little care for what's happening. And just as you notice I'm painting around the canvas in a way, not just all from top to bottom or back and forward, because I'm actually, visually I'm just trying to maintain that balance with that, and it's not just sort of colouring in the white, so to speak. I'm about to run out of that, but that won't hurt actually. Yeah, I'm wanting that to come forward a bit. It's almost, so I've been mainly painting this in thin. A bit of texture in there to bring that up, which is nice, sort of bounces back in here, so I'll probably do a similar here, just pull that forward in front of the, because I'm still using a tinting white, I'm not getting that solid titanium or zinc white space. Although in this painting you'd use titanium, I guess. That's nice, I like that. So I'm just putting a bit of paint on, a bit thicker than I normally do. I want to get that textural, some of that blue I don't want, textural of the wood bark. So I love these little embedded rocks that sort of sit in the middle of the form, and really conscious of a lot of the impressionists as they're painting and they're leaving bits of canvas behind. A lot of the reasons why they left bits of canvas behind is they didn't have paint as cheaply and freely as I have. So they were sort of being scarce for economic reasons often. This tumbling effect of the Prussian and the whites. Wobbling up. So I haven't quite decided what I'm doing with this little bit yet. I know why it's there in terms of the original drawing, but whether I want to follow that or not is a question in my mind. So I've got a few background spots that I So you can see I'm using a really big brush, but it's a really long filbert, so I'm just sort of enjoying getting in. Notice I use the side of the brush just as much as I use the tip on this type of brush. And it gives me beautiful texture. I'm going to come back in a minute and solidify up some of these other colour. It's funny, I haven't done this for ages, but this painting's almost finished. It's like, oh, Russell, like, so normally I paint in layers and layers and layers, like 10 layers, and 10 layers takes, 10 weeks to paint. These paintings I'm working on with these upturned roots, I'm doing in 4 layers, maybe 5, 3, 4, 5, but mainly 4, 5, and like a couple I've done. But this one I'm really happy with. I'm just going to have to stop. But before I stop, I've just got to work on that this bit here. Got to work on these dark shapes. I've still got a couple of spots in the middle there that I haven't resolved, which I think I'm going to bring into dark. So I might do that first. Go back to my Prussian blue. A little bit into that deep part of the trunk. Sort of go, oh. Yeah, I like it. That resolves that. Yep, it works well. You find these little bits you haven't actually dealt with. Oh yeah, I'm loving the dynamic of this. Darken that. Just so alive. I'm leaving my brushes here. Discovered this got a handy brush holder on the side. Hadn't realised that until recently. No, I've still got some of that there. Need a new brush. Fortunately, I have a few of these. If you're interested, they're Art Spectrum brushes. I use Art Spectrum paint and Art Spectrum materials. Pretty much 90% of my stuff is Art Spectrum. Love this Australian company. I don't pay me order Art Spectrum, but hey. I love their paint, and this is their beautiful transparent red, Australian red gold. It's just a magnificent paint. Just loving. Let me get some more medium. No, do I need medium? I need a little bit. Just a little bit. So I'm using lean medium because it's the first layer, but I think it's the last layer, so hey, doesn't matter really. Just realised I hadn't got any classic medium, any normal. I got fat and thin. So now I just want to come back and deepen that. Comes the reason why I had it in my hand. I've run out of it. Just going to move that. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to move it to a slightly different part of the palette because I don't want to get any of that Prussian blue on it because I don't want it turning green. So what I want to do here is just strengthen up the colour without ruining the subtlety of it. It's got this beautiful inbuilt texture in its transparency. So just want to do this just to thicken it up. So here you can sort of see my shading and shadowing going on underneath it. I'm not worried about that. So I drew it up in pencil first. These rocks are just sitting on top of, if you think of it literally, they're sitting on top of the trunk and sort of resting. They might have been up here and they're fallen down into that little gully. It's like the rocks and the dirt embedded. So I'm sort of using this almost pure, but because it's a transparent paint, it's still seeing through it. It's just what is lovely about it. It's just solidifying its texture. I'm avoiding using any darkening agents here. Russian brew comes into it though and has just done it for me. Yes, I'm liking what that just did then, so I might just encourage a little bit more of that. So just a little bit of that blue as a toner to the, I'm being careful not to turn it to a green. Just bedding it down a little bit. Now I'll get to that always difficult artistic decision, is when do you stop? When do you actually say enough? So need to define just a few edges a little bit. Bring that embeddedness in. Yummy. Now notice here I've got sort of it's got to do with the thin medium just leaking under gravity a bit, so pull that out so I didn't want that cracking there. A nice technique, I would have left it there, but I think voila, we are done. So, finished? I think so actually. I think we're actually finished. The biggest problem here is that I'm thinking, I've got a week's painting in this, so I'll just come back and enjoy it and enjoy it and enjoy it. But I've actually finished it in this short time. I'm going to stop and have a look at it now. One thing about painting, you've got to stop and contemplate and go, doesn't need more, but this is telling me it's vibrant, it's alive, it's happening, and it doesn't need more. Whatever I do now is just going to tighten it up and stiffen it up, and I don't think I want that. I like what's going on. I love that complementary colours of the orange and the blue, and that serpentine dried wood of the whites and the unbleached or the unbleached titanium. It's gorgeous. Well, there you go. Surprise, surprise.